Make-A-Wish employees, what was the most strangest thing a Make-A-Wish kid asked for and actually received?
My friend's an aquarist and she told me about one 17-year-old cancer patient who had a wish to smell a sea lion's breath before he died. He had read it was the worst thing ever and was just curious to experience it for some reason. Plus he liked sea lions, I guess. She was of course pretty shocked by the request and said, "Are you sure? I promise you really don't want to smell it. I always make sure to hold my breath if I'm getting that close," but he insisted and it was arranged. He puked, and didn't enjoy it very much.
As someone who has been kissed on the cheek by a sea lion, I don't regret the kiss. But hoo boy was it rank. I smelled like dead and decaying fish the rest of the day. Yes, I did wash my face, didn't matter. That pew was determined to hang around. Did you gag? Did others notice the smell? Do you work with aquatic animals? I notice your username, or how did you get that experience?
A funeral. He knew his parents wouldn't be able to afford one, so he wished to have his funeral paid for. They were able to convince his to make another wish, and he wished for gold lockets for his mom and sister with his initials engraved on them. Edit. His funeral was paid for as well. I believe another non-profit helped with that. They just really wanted him to have a wish for himself. But all he cared about was his family. I'm crying. What a kid. So sad that with his own death approaching he was worrying about his family. I heard about a kid a few months back who got to blow up an overpass. It was scheduled for demolition anyways, but they got to push the plunger. Here's the video. Credit to you, Borderlandsman.
That's super cool. One of my friends was a US Army combat engineer. For one of his drill weekends he got to do that. Afterwards he was covered in concrete dust and all smiles.
It would have been a lot cooler if they weren't going to blow it up anyway.
When I was on a carrier they flew a kid and his parents out. They routinely fly distinguished visitors, but we thought it was weird there was this kid. They got tours and watched flight ops, but he couldn't fly with us, so they asked us to have dinner with him so he could at least meet pilots and ask questions. It was really humbling when we realized this is what he was there for. He literally wished to just come see what we do and hang it with us.
How is dinner on a carrier? Does everyone eat the same thing the other soldiers eat, or is there special meals for special guests? Heard about one kid who, upon finding his cancer was terminal, requested to meet Voldemort so that he could join the Death Eaters. Probably looking for how to make a Horcrux.
I had a wish when I was 8 due to having leukemia and a bone marrow transplant. My first thought was meet Bruce Willis. Die Hard was my newly discovered favorite film, but my dad asked if I wanted something that would last like a computer. I always loved playing on the hospital computers, so yeah, went for that. Best decision ever. I might owe my career to it. I hear Bruce Willis is a bit of a tit IRL anyway. Edit. I think this was after the BMT, so I was past the worst of it, so I was most likely going to be around to enjoy the thing that will last. Edit 2. In case Bruce Willis reads this, I'm still a massive fan, even after Die Hard 5.
I worked at a Lego retail store in the 2000s and Make-A-Wish approached us for a child with terminal osteosarcoma who wanted to be in the store for a day. Lego unfortunately denied the request, which surprised myself and the rest of the staff because Lego was a pretty great company. Staff decided to honor the request ourselves. We closed the store early on a Sunday, then invited the kid and family in. He had a full run of the store. We collectively paid for like $1,000 worth of toys for him to take home, and just spent the entire evening building with a he wanted. He died a few months later loudly crying.
Lego denied his Make-A-Wish. What? That's crazy. What you guys did was so sweet. I'm sure he had a lot of fun with you guys.
It was odd. I think it had to get sent up the chain and got rejected in the bureaucratic nature of it all.
Friend's son want a spider costume. Not a Spider-Man costume. Spider. It was the day before Halloween. A volunteer stayed up all night and made him the costume.
That volunteer is a legend.
I think so. So kind. I was a Black Hawk pilot in the army and we had a Make-A-Wish kid who wanted to fly in an army helicopter. We had to remove all the seats so we could strap his wheelchair down in the middle of the helicopter and we flew him around at treetop level yanking and banking with the doors open for a while.
Yes, of course. Mom, we'll take him on a nice scenic flight. Doors close. So kid, you like roller coasters? Quote.
You boys like Mexico. Who?
My wife worked as a nurse at a children's hospital and cared for a 17-year-old cancer patient whose wish was to meet Wiz Khalifa. He showed up and spent the day. My wife said they went on a walk and came back high as balls. She said it was a great day for the boy and his family. He passed away a few weeks later. This is the best one I've read. I'd also be getting high as balls if I was terminally ill. My ex-GF was a Make-A-Wish kid and she got to be a guest on Avatar: The Last Airbender. She was in the Tales of Bar Sing Se. At the end of the tale of Aang, SH's the kid that sees her cat in the zoo and says, "Fluffykins, what are you doing down there?" Also, to add to this, her wish wasn't actually to be on the show, but to go to Orlando Studios to meet the cast and crew. While she was there, the show's creators offered to draw her into the show and gave her a line to say. So the character she voiced was even drawn to look like her. Even the hat she wears was similar to the one she wore at the time.
After I survived cancer at 17, I was offered a wish. I went to Christmas Island with my family to see the spawning of the red crabs, reckoned to be one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Picture it, a million fist-sized red land crabs making their way down to the sea edge to release their eggs into the ocean over a period of just 3 hours or so. The Make-A-Wish volunteers looked horrified as I explained it. And I'm typing this now, so yes, I lived. Thanks. Edit. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure my wish caught my family a bit off guard too.
You were told to make a wish. AMD, your response was pretty much, why not Zoidberg? I hadn't thought of it like that, but yes. I used to know a dude who got sick in high school, and his wish was to see Rocksteady Studios and be in one of their games. The studio was super cool, evidently, and they put him in Arkham Knight as a GCPD officer. Best part of the story is that he recovered and, last I heard, is still doing okay to this day.
I was a Make-A-Wish kid back in 2017 and my wish was to go see a live brain surgery, in Seattle at University of Washington. I loved Grey's Anatomy, I loved Dr. Shepard, and I had brain cancer, so I wanted to see what my doctors kind of saw, what an experience, and learned so much. I was a little neurosurgeon for a day, and the neurosurgeon was playing the Pixies while operating. What a great happy moment, I won't forget. They even sent my family from Arizona to Seattle with me, to have dinner with me in the Space Needle.
Wow, that's wild, very cool, and obviously I'm glad you're still with us.